Hello everyone, my name is Sarathi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is a very powerful Synchro Fusion deck that's been released in Master Duel just yesterday. And I've got the full deck ready and willing to go. I've already streamed it. I put up an extensive combo guide and I put up some replays which are on my channel. And you can take a look. This is the full deck guide, so we can talk about the cards and what they do and how to play the game. So, to start with, we have our hand traps. We are playing 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is very important for Blue Eyes. If you know nothing else about this deck, understand that Effect Veiler is the best hand trap for you. Why? It's a level 1 light spellcaster, and it's a tuner. There you go. So it has synergy with basically your entire deck. All of your monsters are level 9, so Effect Veiler can be used to synchro with your Blue Eyes into any one of them. Also, you get an additional normal summon of a light level 1 tuner monster with Mausoleum of White. That can be your Effect Veiler, and you can also search Effect Veiler with Sage with Eyes of Blue. So, Effect Veiler, during your opponent's main phase, is a quick effect. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Amazing. It's not once per turn. Get 3 of them and just win the game. Next up, we are playing 1 copy of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This could be Max C if you're concerned about Max C. Ghost Ogre, I feel like, is pretty decent for getting rid of a few key cards in the meta. In particular, things like Fiendsmith Desiree is a really good example, a card that activates an effect on the field and is otherwise difficult to remove or interrupt. So, yeah, Fiendsmith Desiree. You've got if your opponent decides to troll you and activate their closed heaven moon card. If they use a couple of the other Fiendsmith cards, like if they use Lacrima, for example, then you can pop Lacrima, and then the opponent can't Xyz summon. So there are actually quite a few cards that use an effect that doesn't really have a whole lot of impact on you, but if you destroy the card, it's huge, and that's why Ghost Ogre I think is underrated in this meta. 3 copies of Ash Blossom, just a great card, probably the best hand trap in the game. Stops Max C, stops Charmies, stops everything else. Nibiru the Primal Being. Nibiru the Primal Being is very important to run at 3 since we're not playing Max C. It's a very powerful light monster. It's just a good interruption for your opponent if they go first. And amusingly enough, because it is level 11, you can combine it with any level 1 tuner to make your Crimson Dragon. Because Crimson Dragon requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. So, Nibiru is a great card for the deck. I love it. 2 copies of Called by the Grave, target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it until the end of the turn. The effects are negated. Yeah, great card. Make sure that we can't get interrupted. And lastly, 1 copy of Imperm because I mean, we have 3 copies of Effect Veiler. What's wrong with 1 more Effect Veiler? Okay, that's the hand traps. Now let's take a look at the main deck. Blue Eyes White Dragon. You do not need this card at 3. We're playing 2 copies, and the only reason that we're playing 2 copies instead of 1 is because we have a card that special summons it from the deck. So it is a really good extender to get a level 8 from your deck, even though almost always you would rather use that card on Jet Dragon. Blue Eyes is, of course, the key core card of the deck, and you will mill it on turn 1 every game. It's fantastic. Next up, we have Sage with Eyes of Blue. This is an easy 3 of. Level 1 Light Spellcaster Tuner Monster, 0 attack points and 1500 defense points. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 1 Light Tuner Monster from your deck to your hand, except Sage with Eyes of Blue. This is not once per turn, and you can normal summon Sage with Eyes of Blue multiple times in a turn, so you will use this effect a lot. Your primary target is Maiden. If you already have Maiden, you can use it to draw Master. If you already have Maiden and Master, you can use it to draw Effect Veiler. It's great. You can discard this card, then target 1 effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of Sage once per turn. So with this card, you will target your Maiden, then Maiden will revive the Sage that you discarded to get you a tuner monster along with a level 8. Instant synchro. Pretty good. Master with Eyes of Blue. This card's dumb. Only need one of them, though, because it's easily searchable. Level 1 Light Spellcaster Tuner Monster. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 Light Tuner Monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Perfect. This card gets you back Sage, so that you can use Sage as a discard effect. You can shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck, then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard other than the sent monster. So this card can target your Maiden, send a Maiden to the graveyard, shuffle the Master back into the deck, and then revive your Blue Eyes. And then Maiden, since it was targeted, can choose your Sage with Eyes of Blue and special summon it back. 1, 8, level 9, easy enough. So you have lots of ways to get an additional level 9 on the board thanks to Maiden's broken effects. Speaking of, Maiden of White, this is the biggest 3-of you've ever seen. I would play 8 cards of this if I had them. Level 1, Light Spellcaster Tuner Monster with 0 attack points and 0 defense points. You can send this card from your hand or your field to the graveyard. That is insane. It is not a quick effect, but it is a very, very powerful effect. You can either pitch the card or you can remove it from your field. Now, if you remove it from your field, it is an ignition effect, so you are vulnerable to both Effect Veiler and Imperm. And remember, if you called by Effect Veiler, that means your Effect Veilers are turned off during your opponent's turn, so be careful about that. Regardless, if you think that your opponent has Effect Veiler, just don't use Maiden of White. The good news is, she sends herself to the graveyard for cost, so that means that you can't fail to do this with Imperm. Like, your opponent will have to Imperm before you declare the effect, so then you can try and just get her back and then use the effect later. Place one True Light from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your Spawn Trap zone. That's insane. Okay, so this card activates True Light from your deck. It can activate True Light from your graveyard, and it can even activate True Light from your hand. So that's why we're playing one copy of True Light. We can't brick on it. The only place that True Light can't be activated from with this card is Banishment. And there's no way your opponent is going to banish a True Light from your deck before you've gone. I guess if you're playing against Kashtira and they get stupidly lucky, then you lose the game. But I mean, that card would be banished face down anyway, so you wouldn't have access to it either way. If you special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, as a quick effect, you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon or one level 1 Light Tuner monster from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Maiden of White once per turn. Insane. All 3 of these effects are really good. You pitch her, you activate True Light, you special summon Blue Eyes, she comes back, level 9. Then, later on, you revive her, you target her with either your Sage or your Master. She sends a level 1 Light Tuner monster from your graveyard back to the field. Then she gets replaced with a level 8, another Synchro 9. Totally great. This card literally does everything. It is one card that gets you like 8 level 9s. Fantastic. Next up we have Neo Kaiser Seahorse, level 4 Light Dragon Tuner Monster. If you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target one Light Tuner Monster, increase or decrease its level by 1. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one Blue Eyes monster or one monster that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to the graveyard, except Neo Kaiser Seahorse, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So, if you have Blue Eyes out and Neo Kaiser Seahorse is your only tuner monster, you can make a level 12. You can't make your Ultimate Spirit Dragon because it requires 2 tuner monsters, but you can make your Crimson Dragon. 4 plus 8. Easy enough. If you want to Synchro summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, because it requires 2 tuners plus 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes monster, you special summon it, you activate its effect, target itself, lower its level to 3. So then Kaiser Seahorse is level 3, Maiden is level 1, 3 plus 1 is 4, then Blue Eyes level 12, make your Spirit Dragon. So that's the way to make Spirit Dragon properly. Very rarely going to happen, but there you go. So this card is a 1-card starter. I've got the combo. It's a little bit less. It makes a little bit less sense than the other cards. Essentially, what you do, you summon Kaiser Seahorse, you link it off, and then you use its effect to mill Maiden. And then because Maiden is in the graveyard, you can use her effect to bring her back when you summon your Blue Eyes. Then you just pitch her from the field, and that activates True Light, and then you can go into Wishes, and then you play the rest of your turn out. It works out pretty well. If you are not using Kaiser Seahorse as your starter, you will use Kaiser Seahorse's effect to mill your Chaos Max, which is great. And if you've already milled Chaos Max, you can mill Jet Dragon. Also great. Speaking of Jet Dragon, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, you can play this card at 1. Other cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Insanely good. So, if you happen to... You guys have seen my 1-card combo video. All those 1-card combos end on... Magia, True Light, Dragon Ravine, Cosmic Blazar Dragon, Stardust Dragon, and Ultimate Spirit Dragon. If you have Jet Dragon as well, then that protects your whole board from being destroyed by card effects. And the way that you get Jet Dragon is you have any of the one card combos that I showed you, except for well, any of the monster combos. If you have Maiden, if you have Sage, or if you have Kaiser Seahorse, and you also opened at least one of Wishes, Roar, or Ultimate Fusion. Because in that instance, you don't have to use your search, your first search, to get Wishes, and your second search to get Ultimate Fusion. Or if you do, you still have Roar in your hand. Anytime that you can open Roar as an additional piece to your combo, you play it when you have Blue Eyes out, you get Jet Dragon on your field, and you just leave it there. You don't need Jet Dragon for any part of your combo. Then Jet Dragon is just sitting there. And if for some reason your opponent removes Jet Dragon from the field, you have two different negates that destroy cards. And what happens when you destroy a card while Jet Dragon is on the graveyard? If a card on the field is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So Jet Dragon will come right back if your opponent manages to remove it, as long as you can negate and destroy one of their cards, which Magia and Cosmic Blazar Dragon both do. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Very, very good card for outing very dangerous threats. In particular, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is a great answer to Nibiru tokens, since you play 3 copies of Nibiru, and Nibiru can sometimes have 8,000 attack points. This deck doesn't have many destroy effects, actually. It negates a lot of cards, but it doesn't pop a lot of cards. So Blue Eyes Jet Dragon will bounce cards for you. Very useful. Next up, we're playing 1 copy of Chaos Max. Technically, you can summon this. You have Majesty of the White Dragon, which you can... Majesty of the White Dragon is a trap card. It says, show up to 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons in your hand, face up monster zone and or graveyard, then destroy equal number of cards your opponent controls. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to ritual summon 1 ritual monster from your hand by attributing Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or field whose total level is equal to its level. So you can technically use Majesty to ritual summon Chaos Max if you happen to draw it. But primarily what Chaos Max is used for is you mill it with your Dragon Ravine or your Neo Kaiser Seahorse, and then you use that as fusion material to make Dragon Master Magia. Bingo Machine Go, this card is dumb. Reveal 3 cards from your deck that meet each meet at least one of the criteria below. Your opponent randomly picks one of them out of your hand and you shuffle the rest into your deck. It's either a Blue Eyes monster or a spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and is not Bingo Machine Go. So you'll play this card to draw your wishes. If you already have wishes, you can use it to draw Maiden, or not Maiden. If you already have wishes, and if you open wishes and Bingo Machine Go, you are cracked. By the way, that's just everything in your deck. You would probably use it to draw either Ultimate Fusion, Majesty of the White Dragon, or Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragon. So you wouldn't get a guarantee because you already have wishes, but you pick those 3 cards, and then whichever card you didn't get, wishes would search the other one. So it's fine. Synchro Rumble. Target one. Oh my gosh, I have never looked at the card art on this card before. That is literally Red Dragon Archfiend about to destroy everything. That looks awesome. I love this card. Spells card, target 1 tuner or 1 level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position. Also for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except synchro monsters. If a level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster or crimson dragon you control will be destroyed by a battle card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Okay, so we don't play level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monsters except for Ancient Fairy Dragon, and Ancient Fairy Dragon cannot be special summoned with this effect because it is not being synchro summoned. I guess you could use Synchro Rumble to protect Ancient Fairy Dragon from being destroyed by the effect of your Spirit Dragon. That's not useful. Primarily, you're going to draw Synchro Rumble when you make Crimson Dragon, which will be on your opponent's turn after AFT is gone anyway. So all this does is it special summons a tuner from your graveyard, which is, I mean, not the best thing in the world, but seeing as it's literally a free card that you draw as part of your combo, it would not make sense to not play it. I don't know if there's like a better Crimson Dragon card in the game, but this one is the one that I see everyone use, and it does have the most direct applicability to our deck. Primarily, you'll use it to get back your Kaiser Seahorse and then you can use Kaiser Seahorse along with Maiden and Kaiser Seahorse from Synchro Rumble. Then you activate True Light, you revive Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes brings back Maiden, and then you use Kaiser Seahorse's effect 3-1-8, and then you go into your second copy of Ultimate Spirit Dragon as a true Synchro summon, so it doesn't get destroyed at the end of the turn, and you have another negate. So, combined with True Light, Synchro Rumble guarantees that you will have an Ultimate Spirit Dragon on your next turn, which is pretty decent follow-up for turn 1. Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Discard 1 card, add 1 light tuner monster and 1 spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Wishes. That includes that you can draw Effect Veiler. I don't know why. The fact that Effect Veiler is a level 1 light tuner monster has made it so good for this deck, and because it's really good for this deck, that makes this deck better because Effect Veiler is a really good card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon you control, equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equip spell that gives it 400 attack points. Okay, so Wishes literally draws you 2 cards. And then once it draws you 2 cards, you equip your Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to your Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then since Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon got cheated into the graveyard, you can just fuse it into Magia super easily. Great card, 10 out of 10, love this effect, and you get it off of your True Light, so it's even better. Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, we play this card at 1. Special summon in defense position 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck, graveyard, or extra deck. But if you control no Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can only special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon with this effect. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Dragon monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck by using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a Blue Eyes monster. You can only use 1 Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons per turn, and only once that turn. Okay, so technically this is the fusion card, just like there's a ritual card. That's cool. It is cool that both you have now a spell and trap that will allow you to get easily searchable ritual and fusion effects in Blue Eyes, but it's not necessary. Not necessary at all. Ultimate Fusion is way better than this card, and you don't play any Blue Eyes fusions anyway, so and you can't use this card to make Magia, so don't worry about it. But you activate this card, you special summon Jet from your deck, and then you have board protection. Like, that's it. This card literally just says your opponent has to waste an effect before they can destroy any of your cards, and you will negate whatever the effect they use to try and destroy Jet Dragon anyway. So basically, your board can't be destroyed. This card makes it so that you don't have to worry about Lightning Storm. It makes it so that if your opponent tries to Raigeki you, they're wasting their time. You don't even need to negate Raigeki or Lightning Storm. Especially Lightning Storm, because the special summons Jet in defense position. But even if they use Raigeki, like, do you really care if they use Raigeki when you have Jet out? Jet gets destroyed. Then as soon as they activate another card, you negate that card and destroy it, then Jet comes right back. So yeah, it's a complete waste of the time. So Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragon basically means that your board is even better protected going first, because it stops generic board breakers, except for Dark Ruler no more, and no one plays Dark Ruler no more. So great. That's the other thing. Like, people have like commented on my build. They're just like, yeah, Dark Ruler response. I'm just like, I will change my deck to deal with Dark Ruler the next time I see it in ladder, which is never. Thank you. All right. Dragon Ravine. Once per turn, you can discard a card and then activate one of these effects. And the effect we're going to use is send a Dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard. You search this card off AFD. You pitch a card from your hand. You mill your Chaos Max. You have a free Magia. It's great. Mausoleum of White. This is the whole reason this deck is good. This is a field spell. And this field spell, for as long as it has been out, has always been trash. And it's really funny that it's insane now. Like, it's rated neutral rarity for a reason. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 level 1 light tuner monster in addition to your normal summoner set. Primarily, the reason why this effect was used before is because none of the level 1 tuner monsters in Blue Eyes could special summon themselves, and so that meant that unless you had exactly alternative, synchro summoning was almost impossible in Blue Eyes. This card did not help it all that much, though, because even if you had an extra normal summon, you didn't really have a way to summon Blue Eyes too often. So yeah, this card unfortunately did not do what it was supposed to do until now. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, send 1 normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. If you do, the targeted monster gains attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 100 until the end of the turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard and then add 1 Burst Stream of Destruction from your deck to your hand. Okay. We are not playing Burst Stream of Destruction. Burst Stream of Destruction is a spell card that says Raigeki if you have Blue Eyes, but then Blue Eyes can't attack for the rest of the turn. This is an interesting idea. It could be really good going second. And if you're worried about going second, the deck does not have a lot of tools to go second. I will admit that. I have not had a problem going second because I just kill everything. My monsters all have 3,000 attack points, and that just kind of wins the game. But if you are, for some reason, worried about board breakers, you could certainly play your Burst Stream of Destruction. You have ways to destroy Mausoleum of White anyway, so you just banish it from the graveyard and add your Burst Stream, and then you can blow up the whole field. That's fine. I don't see the point. But if you want to play Burst Stream of Destruction, you could cut Imperm or Majesty, either one. The reason why this card is good is because you mill Blue Eyes with it. You've always been able to mill Blue Eyes with it, but now the Link 1 makes it so that once you've milled Blue Eyes, you actually bring Blue Eyes back with, like, no effort. And that's what makes this card just go from being trash to being, like, one of the best cards in the game. Ultimate Fusion. This card's dumb. Quick play spell card. During the main phase, fusion summon one fusion monster from your X deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material by shuffling the materials on it from your hand, field, and or graveyard into the deck. Then you can destroy face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blue Eyes White Dragons and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons used from the field as material. You can only activate one Ultimate Fusion per turn. Right. Okay. This makes Magia. But it is important to note that the wording on this card is very confusing to people. Okay. Let's take a look at Magia real quick. Dragon Master Magia. Dragon Master Magia is a fusion summon of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or 3 Blue Eyes monsters plus 1 Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. Okay, so how do I put this? Okay, let's take a look at the wording of Ultimate Fusion. Okay. So, fusion summon a fusion monster that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material by shuffling the materials mentioned on it. Now, you would think this means that you could take 3 Blue Eyes monsters or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and then your Chaos Max, put them back in the deck, and then summon Magia. No. I don't know. I don't know why it works this way. It is probably something to do with the specific way that the phrase "the materials mentioned" translates into English. I'm sure it's clearer in Japanese. A lot of situations are like a lot of confusing wording from these cards is literally just that they don't translate well from Japanese into English. But you have to shuffle the Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon material mentioned on the card into the deck. So, when you play Ultimate Fusion to make Magia, you must shuffle Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, even if you have 3 Blue Eyes monsters in your graveyard and your Chaos Max. Even if you have Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in your graveyard, it does not matter. You do not have the option of taking more, like, a lot of people, when this came out, they thought that they could use Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and then choose to use 2 other monsters, because you could use, Ultimate Dragon as a Blue Eyes monster, and then you could choose 2 other Blue Eyes monsters and just return them. Basically, they were hoping that the reason why this is important is because a lot of people thought that Ultimate Fusion with Magia could be used to recycle copies of Spirit Dragon, because Spirit Dragon tributes itself to summon other cards. So you have a lot of high-value, repetitive Synchro monsters in your graveyard, and Ultimate Fusion could, in theory, use to cycle them back in addition to summoning Magia. That is not the case. Ultimate Fusion requires you to shuffle back exactly Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon when you summon Dragon Master Magia. So, okay, rant over. You cannot summon 3 monsters, you cannot shuffle 3 monsters back with Ultimate Fusion if you're making Dragon Master Magia. I've tried, it doesn't work. Majesty of the White Dragons, I basically already talked about this card, but it's like if you open this card, it's fine, and then if you decide that you don't need Roar for some reason, and you already have Ultimate Fusion, it's a fine card to draw, and just pops a card. I mean, if you need to pop a card, then this pops a card, and it's good to have, just like I said, we don't have too many destroy effects, so this is just a good on-demand destroy effect that you can search really easily. And lastly, True Light. Your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes monsters you control. Blue Eyes White Dragon you control with card effects. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. Alright. For all my Duel Links players out there is a lot of times you're eager to compare True Light to Eternal Soul, which is the Dark Magician version of this. No, these cards are very different. So, read carefully. Eternal Soul says, if this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. This card says, if this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. Importantly, if True Light is banished, it does not trigger. So, one of the most common ways for people to try and remove spells and traps in Master Duel is to summon SP Little Knight, which targets a card and banishes it. People do not play Nightmare Phoenix in Master Duel. They play SP Little Knight because SP Little Knight answers spells and traps, but it also answers monsters, and you don't have to discard a card. And it's also got an on-field effect that's way better than Nightmare Phoenix. So I've had multiple people try to SP Little Knight to True Light, and it does not work. It does nothing. Yes, True Light no longer buffs your board, but you can't. It can't be popped. It doesn't pop your field, and it's important to note that the primary way that people will try to send True Light to the graveyard is by destroying it, and Jet Dragon prevents it from being destroyed. So that's good. Anyway, you can use the following effects of True Light once per turn. You get to activate one of these effects, special summon a Blue Eyes from your hand or graveyard, or set one spell or trap from your deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon with a different name from the cards you control and the cards that are in your graveyard. Okay, so True Light lets you set wishes, it lets you set your Majesty, it lets you set Roar, and by the way, the fact that it says different name from the cards you control and in your graveyard, that is the whole reason why all of these cards, all three of them, have an effect that banishes themselves from the graveyard. In case you were wondering, in case you saw the theme, like why do all these cards have an effect that banishes from the graveyard, it is specifically so that if you search them with True Light, you have the ability to get them out of your graveyard so you can search them again with True Light, which is really nice. I like that they thought of that. So yeah, because banishing wishes from the graveyard to equip Blue Eyes is like part of the combo. I've never had a problem where I couldn't use True Light to set Witches again, which is dumb. Wishes is already a stupid card. The fact that you can search it twice if the game goes to turn 3 is stupid. The game doesn't usually go to turn 3 though. Your opponent will usually concede on turn 2. All right, extra deck. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This card is used to make Magia. That's all. What can I say about this card? Dragon Master Magia. This card is $900, by the way. I am so happy that I get to play this card as if I owned it. There's no way I could have ever played this card in real life. I spent $600 on 2 decks in real life. $900 for one card? No, never. I would never do that. Please reprint this. Konami, please give us a non-quarter century secret rare of this card. That'd be nice. Anyway, must be fusion summoned. Oh, it has 5,000 attack points, by the way. 5,000 attack points, 4,000 defense points. This is basically a reprint of Dragon Master Knight, which is great. It's easier to make than Dragon Master Knight, but it basically is just Dragon Master Knight, and it's got great artwork. It's got great stats. It's got a great effect. Dragon Master Knight was always terrible, so the fact that this is like it's really supposed to be like a celebration of Yugi and Kaiba working together, and it has a place in both Dark Magician and in Blue Eyes, and it gives both Dark Magician and Blue Eyes something valuable. So, yeah, I love this. I love everything about this card. This card was implemented perfectly. Anyway, when your opponent activates a card effect as a quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can use this effect of Dragon Master Magia once per turn into each card type, monster, spell, or trap per turn. So you can negate monster effects, you can negate spell cards, and you can negate traps once per turn each. Now you might think, okay, well, if you're going first, you can negate a monster and you can negate a spell. That's 2 effects that's really useful, but you're not going to negate a trap card. To an extent, that is true. Of course, your opponent can play Imperm, and you will negate Imperm. Red Reboot is the other very common trap card that gets activated on turn 1 going second, but you can't Magia Red Reboot because it's a counter trap card. However, there are a lot of decks that use trap cards in the graveyard on turn 1. So if you are playing against a deck that mills traps and then activates their effects from the graveyard, Dragon Master Magia does not negate trap cards. It negates trap cards or trap effects. So you can negate the effect of a card that's banished from the graveyard to activate its effect. Like, for example, Branded Banishment or Branded Retribution are trap cards that get played and branded that have effects in the graveyard. You also have in tier limits, you have Crime, Soliac, and Meta Noise that all have an effect that activates when they get milled, so you can negate those. In Labyrinth, Labyrinth has a hand trap that lets them activate a trap card the turn it's set, so you can negate. They are actually going to trap card you on turn 1. So yeah, and then Trap Tricks also has Holotea. So yes, there are multiple decks, most of them meta relevant, that have the ability to activate trap cards going first on turn 1. So the fact that Dragon Master Magia can handle trap cards saves you a negate from other cards, which is really nice. If this face-up card leaves the field because of its opponent's card effect or just being destroyed by battle, I guess. No one's going to destroy this card in battle. You can special summon one Blue Eyes monster or one Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your extra deck or your graveyard. So this card lets you cheat out Ultimate Spirit Dragon, which is a negate that has 3,500 attack and 4,000 defense and also prevents your opponent from banishing cards from your graveyard. But unlike Spirit Dragon cheating it out, Magia just cheats it out forever, so it never it never goes away. And remember that, by the way, that Ultimate Spirit Dragon floats when it's destroyed too. So if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Light Dragon monster from your graveyard, except Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. You won't be able to summon Magia because Magia says must be fusion summon, but you would be able to special summon your Spirit Dragon. So Magia floats into Spirit Dragon, Ultimate Spirit Dragon, which floats into Spirit Dragon. So making Magia not only gives you a bunch of negates, it also makes your board basically immortal. You will never run out. Like you strip your opponent of resources, and then you also, even if they manage to get through it, win the grind game. The only deck that really, like, that Magia really feels like it can't handle is Yubel. And that's only because of the Fiendsmith stuff. So I feel like Yubel is a deck that Magia and like Blue Eyes in general could handle pretty well. But the fact that they have Fiendsmith cards that can like run you out of resources and negates really quickly means that if they are somehow able to still get access to Nightmare Pain, Magia can't handle that because Magia has 5,000 attack points, so it's really easy to just run over your opponent with a Nightmare Pain. With that in mind, if you ever go up against Yubel, I highly recommend that you use you save either your Dragon Master Magia or your Ultimate Spirit Dragon's effect to negate Nightmare Pain because it's a bad card. Ancient Fairy Dragon, during your main phase, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. You cannot come back to your battle phase to activate this effect. That's great. You special summon a level 1 tuner, then you can use it with Ancient Fairy Dragon to make your Excel Synchro. During your main phase, you can destroy as many cards in field zones as possible, and if you do, gain 1,000 life points, then you can have a field spell with a different name from the destroy card from your deck to your hand. So you search your Mausoleum, and then you can use AFD to destroy Mausoleum to search Dragon Ravine, which is amazing. Stardust Dragon, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, as a quick effect you can contribute this card and negate the activation if you do destroy it, and then during the end phase if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Pretty cool, pretty useful effect. You summon Stardust Dragon off of your Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. It is treated as a Synchro summon, so it comes back, which is nice. Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, level 8, so you make it with AFD and a tuner. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can special summon one level 2 or lower tuner monster from your graveyard. You bring back one of your tuners, and you use it along with Blue Eyes to make a level 9. During your main phase, you contribute one. This card special summon one Stardust Dragon from your extra deck, which is treated as a Synchro Summon. Then immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro Summon using monsters you control as material. You can, for the rest of this turn, the monsters Synchro Summon by this effect are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So both Stardust Dragon and then your level 9 Spirit Dragon are unaffected for the rest of the turn, and it's great. This is the card that makes the entire deck worth it. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Requires 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Blue Eyes monsters. This is hilarious. Being able to stop your opponent from special summoning 2 monsters at the same time is great. It works against Sankai's Flamebird Dragon, so they can't special summon either monster from their graveyard when their Flamebird Dragon gets removed. Very useful. Once per turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated as a quick effect, you can negate the activation. That's excellent. Just a Really, really good card. Quick effect, you can contribute the Synchro Summon card to special summon one Light Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. That can be a level 12 or level 7 or whatever you want it to be. We summon Crimson Dragon, we summon Ancient Fairy Dragon, we summon Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. No limits. It is important to note that neither of these effects is once per turn, so make as many Spirit Dragons as you want. It's funny. Cosmic Blazar Dragon. There are people who say that you should play Stardust Cipher Dragon with this deck, which is definitely a possibility. Hold on. How do you spell this? How do you spell this? Oh. Stardust Cipher Divine Dragon, which is a level 12. The first time each card you control will be destroyed by each turn by battle or card effect is not destroyed. That is not needed because you have Jet Dragon. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, as a quick effect, you can negate that effect, and if you destroy one card on the field, then you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one level 8 or lower Stardust monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And it's terrible. Yeah, I wouldn't do this. Blazar is much better. Level 12, 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense. Must be synchro summoned. As a quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Banish this card until the end phase. To activate one of these effects, when your opponent activates a card or effect, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card, so it's an Omni-Negate. When your opponent would summon a monster, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy the monster, so it's a Solemn Judgment. It works on both normal and special summons, which is amazing. Or when your opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the attack, and then end battle phase. So yeah, Cosmic Blazar Dragon is insane. It's got 4,000 attack points, it's got non-once per turn effects, and you can make multiple copies of them because you can summon Crimson Dragon multiple times, so this is hilarious, played it too. Crimson Dragon, this card is dumb. This card needs to be banned like 8 months ago. Level 12, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 spell or trap that mentions Crimson Dragon from your deck to your hand. As a quick effect, you can target 1 level 7 or higher Synchro monster on the field, except Crimson Dragon, return this card to the extra deck. If you do, special summon 1 Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level as the targeted monster. This is treated as a Synchro summon. You can only use each effect of Crimson Dragon once per turn. Dumb, 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 dumb. Yes, this card makes it so that if you use so first of all, you can pull this card out of your deck with Spirit Dragon. So Crimson Dragon's effect does not. First of all, Crimson Dragon does not need to be synchro summoned to search a spell or Crimson Dragon effect, and it also doesn't need to be synchro summoned in order to use its effect to bounce it to synchro summon something else. So the fact that you can cheat this card out with your Spirit Dragon and then use its effect to cheat out another monster is really, really unfair. I genuinely think that Blue Eyes, I know that Centurion abused Crimson Dragon, I know that TG's abused Crimson Dragon, I really think that Blue Eyes is egregious. At least the other 2 decks had to actually make a 12. The fact that you can make a 9 and then cheat Crimson Dragon with your 9 to make a level 12 is just, it's a little much. This is a little bit broken. But yeah, it's a good card. Just cheat it out with your level 7, or sorry, your level 9. And then target one of your Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragons, and then you can use it to make Blazar. And you have an Omni-Negate. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, 3,500 attack, 4,000 defense. Requires 2 or more tuners plus 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes monster. Your opponent cannot banish cards from your graveyard. Since you can synchro summon this card since you can special summon this card from your extra deck as a quick effect with your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, that means you can actually get this blanket negation against cards that would banish you from the graveyard and then ruin your opponent's day. For example, you can use this to make yourself immune to Called by the Grave, which is really, really funny. Your opponent tries to Call by the Grave you. You respond, Tribute. Now your Spirit Dragon is on the board. No Call by the Grave. Very funny. It also prevents your opponent from using Bestials on you. So if your opponent tries to target one of your cards in the graveyard with a Bestial, respond, Tribute. Special summon your Spirit Dragon. No. Very good. You can only use each of the following effects of Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon once per turn. When a card effect is activated on the field, as a quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. So it negates activation, which means it can be used during the damage step. It can only be used on cards on the field, so no hand traps or grave effects, and it doesn't destroy the card. But you gain 1,000 attack points. Pretty decent. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Light Dragon monster from your graveyard, except Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. That is a once per turn float, but it's a very, very powerful float. You'll use it to get your Spirit Dragon back, and then you can potentially make another Crimson Dragon, and then you win the game. Oh, wait, no. You can't use it to make Crimson Dragon because Spirit Dragon is actually balanced. unlike Crimson Dragon, Spirit Dragon requires it to be synchro summoned to use its effect. Then lastly, we have Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Requires 1 level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster monster. You cannot special summon except dragons. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is link summon, you can take 1 Mausoleum of White from your deck and either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can tribute this card to special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your hand to graveyard, but if you special summon an effect monster from your graveyard by this effect, it cannot attack and its effects are negated permanently. No big deal. Play your Mausoleum, mill your Blue Eyes, tribute to Spirit of White, summon Blue Eyes. That's your full combo. Right. Okay, cards that are not being used in the deck. First of all, Dictator of D. This is Cope. I know that this card used to be everything that Blue Eyes wanted to do. It is no longer necessary. You have Mausoleum for this. So it has the ability to like pitch a Blue Eyes from your deck, which was really nice, but now you don't even need to draw Dictator of D because you have your Link 1 that just does this for you. So cut this card, you don't need it. Dragon Spirit of Whites, you can special summon dragon monsters from your deck still, which could potentially banish cards to make it useful, but it's not worth it. It's just not, like, this is a very slow effect. Yes, it's potentially useful to get rid of a spell or trap that's really bothering you, but you could just negate them to begin with anyway, so just play better. Deep Eyes White Dragon, this card is very funny, admittedly. It is really good for you to just, like, special summon Deep Eyes White Dragon and then burn your opponent for, like, 4,000. But the card is not really searchable, and also, the fact that you usually try to make Jet Dragon as part of your end board means that it's actually pretty difficult for one of your cards to be destroyed. So Deep Eyes White Dragon doesn't really come up that often. Your board can get broken, but a lot of times it'll get broken by non-destruction effects, like banishing or putting the card in the spell and trap zone, because that's a thing now. So yeah. Tyrant Dragon. A lot of people are trying to play Tyrant Dragon because they think that that's the point of Wishes. No, the point of Wishes is Magia. This is pointless. It lets you target a trap card in your graveyard to set it. So if True Light is removed from your field, you can get True Light back. Ooh, so exciting. You can do that with Maiden too. Maiden can activate a Blue Eyes, like a True Light from the graveyard, and Maiden comes back to your field every single turn. So it's not necessary. This is a waste of an extra X slot. Destined Rivals, this is like a board negate, but it requires you to control Blue Eyes White Dragon, not a Blue Eyes monster. And while you can control Blue Eyes White Dragon at some points during the turn, ideally you don't. Ideally you're synchro summoning or using it for some other beneficial effect. This is a searchable card. If you really feel like you need more negates than that, that's understandable. But I feel like you have enough negates to begin with. And I've already explained why we're not playing Burst Stream. So yeah, that's everything. Okay, let's take a look at the replay. All right, we were going first against Tyr. Start things off by summoning Maiden of White. Link it off. Summon Spirit. Spirit effect. We try to draw a Mausoleum, and the opponent is going to negate that. That actually makes it a little bit difficult for us to deal with. We activate Wishes, pitch Ash, draw Roar, and Sage. Activate Roar, special summon Blue Eyes. And unfortunately, we can't special summon Maiden from the graveyard because we're dragon locked thanks to Spirit. So we're going to pitch Spirit, special summon Jet. Then we banish Wishes from the graveyard, target the Blue Eyes, equip it, and then we're going to synchro summon into our Crimson Dragon to get Blue Eyes in our graveyard. That triggers Kaiser Seahorse's effect, and we're going to use Crimson Dragon's effect as well to get a Synchro Rumble. Mill Chaos Max. Activate Synchro Rumble, special summon the Maiden of White. Maiden of White, pitch itself, grab the True Light, set the Ultimate Fusion, and we pass. So we got interrupted, and basically that means our end board is just Magia. That's okay though. Opponent's going to activate Tearlament Scream. We'll activate Ultimate Fusion in response. We shuffle the Chaos Max and the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon back. Summon Magia. Opponent normal summons, and they're going to activate Scream. We can negate a spell card effect. So we're going to destroy Scream, which means that he can use Scream's effect, I think, to add a trap. Yeah. He's going to add Crime. He activates Foolish Burial Goods, mills the trap card. He has a trap effect during his first turn, like I told you guys about, so we're just going to negate that grave effect. Would have been able to add a monster to his hand, now it can't. He sets 2, and then he's going to end his turn. We're going to activate True Light, summon Blue Eyes, Maiden comes back. He passes. Alright, so we know what our opponent has, which makes this next part awkward. We summon Spirit Dragon, and we're going to use Spirit Dragon's effect. Now, my opponent called by the Graves me. Now, I could use Dragon Master Magia to negate this, but his other face-down card is Tearlament's Crime, which negates the effect of a monster that activates and then shuffles that card into the deck. Now you might say, well, why don't you just negate the trap card? Isn't Magia not once per chain? Magia is not once per chain, but Tearlament's Crime is a counter trap card, so I can't respond to it with a monster effect. So I have to let this go, otherwise I would not negate Called by the Grave, and I would lose my Magia in response. So we're going to activate True Light in response and just bring our Blue Eyes back. So we lose our Spirit Dragon, and also any other Spirit Dragons that would be activated this turn. But we are going to use Maiden's effect to come back. The opponent's going to activate Crime in response. We can't respond to it because it's such a counter trap card, so we just let it go. Maiden gets shuffled back. He has to pitch Droll. Alright, we're going to normal summon the Maiden of White in our hand. Synchro summon into Spirit Dragon. Then we'll use Crimson Dragon's effect, target the Spirit Dragon, synchro into another Spirit Dragon. Battle. Beat over. Attack directly. And 5k. So there you go. Our opponent, put up a decent fight. They had some good tricky plays that we couldn't necessarily negate everything, but they ran out of resources pretty quickly, and we had good follow-up. My name is Sarafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.